You expect me to write stuff down? Psh! That wasn't even my phone.
It's Drewski McGillicuddy's trendy horror movie thingy.
Hey everybody, it's Drewski McGillicuddy, and there's this thing going around with 9 questions talking about horror movies, and I didn't feel like writing anything down, so I figured, hell, I'll make a video. So I'm making a video. Mickey Ross was the first one to bring it to my attention, and then everybody else just started jumping on it. So I copied and pasted it, answered my questions, and then I sent it to the secretary's phone, and now I'm going to read them to you, even though it just involves reading, but I want to have my questions answered before I started doing this. Also, that of the background, trying to this is going to be my little setup while my background's under construction. It might be under construction until it's going to be a while. I have no idea what I'm doing. I keep procrastinating and I'm not getting nothing done. And then there's the fact that I'm working who knows however many hours a day at work. Anyway, so there's 9 questions pertaining to, I'm supposing, horror films. I might make another one of these because these are pretty cool, pretty fun questions. Maybe I'll make one for action and comedy and drama and kids movies and stuff like that, because I love all kinds of movies, not just horror movies, okay? But this is the horror movie video, so sit back, and there's only 9 questions, so it shouldn't take too long. Unless I start rambling on, which I am doing right now. Movie I hate. Well, let me tell you about it. It took me a while to sit here and think of a movie, because I was trying to think of a couple movies and then narrow them down, but there was only one movie that came to mind when I could think of a horror movie that I legitimately hate and wish was stricken from the record, and that is Creepshow 3. I mean, my God, what a pile of shit. I am eventually going to watch this movie against my better judgment again for the first time in like 15 years. Whenever Redbox first came out was the first time I saw this pile of shit. So yeah, I mean, it has nothing to do with the original 2 Creepshows. It's not even set up with separate stories. All the stories are taking place at the same time, intertwining at the same time. A lot like a movie called 1114 with Patrick Swayze and Hilary Swank. But that's not a horror movie, and that movie's actually good. This is just an incoherent mess that kind of makes no sense, and it's just a pain to watch, but I'm going to watch it for you people. Anyway. So yeah, Creepshow through. Creepshow 3 can go fuck itself. Movie I think is overrated. Now this is going to surprise nobody at all. Because I sat here trying to think of a movie that's overrated. And I can't really think of anything other than Halloween 2018. I mean, this movie was kind of a mess, but everybody was flipping their shit about it, and they still, to this day, won't shut the fuck up about it. I don't know, the only good thing in the movie, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, was Michael Myers, and the portrayal of Michael Myers, and the way Michael Myers looked. Other than that, the story was completely bogus. The writing was kind of schlocky, is what I would call it. And then some of the directing was good, but it's like they fucking forgot they were making a Halloween movie, other than the fact that it had Laurie Strode and Michael Myers in it. I don't see why nobody else can fucking see it but me. I mean, there is a scene that obviously takes place on Halloween. There's a bunch of kids running around on Halloween. But it doesn't have the atmosphere of Halloween. And it kind of bugs me. It kind of bugs the fucking shit out of me. And I don't know how to explain it to where you can understand what the fuck I'm talking about, unless you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about, and then you know that it's hard to explain that there's a lack of atmosphere in this fucking movie. Because I know, I'm not fucking crazy. Anyway, movie I think is underrated, and a lot of you have probably never even heard of this movie because of the fact that it is French, also because of the fact that it was banned from the theater when it came out with the After Dark Horror Fest back in 2006, 7, some shit like that. And that's a movie called Frontiers. It's basically if Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Hostel got together and they were like Nazis and fucked and had a baby. That's what Frontiers is. Top-notch stuff. It's got like a 4.8. I think. Here, let's look. Yeah. What I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. I read one of the reviews back when the movie first came out, and I was trying to recommend it to people when I worked at Blockbuster. And it had it had 4.8 back then, and there was a review that said it looked like it was edited by a 13-year-old. And I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. I mean, because this movie is practically flawless in my opinion. I don't know. If you haven't seen Frontiers, buy that shit on Amazon, rent that shit on Amazon, whatever you gotta do to get a hold of this movie. Eventually I'm gonna sit down and review it. I just have to wait till I feel like reading subtitles. Even though you don't even need to read the subtitles. That's the crazy thing. Because you can kind of tell what's going on. They're running from some stuff, and then they get caught up at this place, and then they're fucked. Movie I love. Now, I could have just said, oh, Night of the Living Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Part 6. But no, I don't want to fucking just be like everybody else. I don't want to be like everybody else. I wanted to have a different answer. So I said that I love The Gate because I have a sneaking suspicion there are far too many people that have never seen this fucking movie. And that's bullshit. Because this movie, what do you call it? When something does something that shows you that something's awesome about the way things were in 1987. I asked you a fucking question. Oh, shit. But yeah, whatever. This movie personifies the 80s and what was great about 80s horror. I'm not even going to explain it. If you haven't seen The fucking Gate, this little kid plays this record backwards, and then all of a sudden there's demons and monsters coming out of the walls and shit. And there's some fucked up shit, and there's some like really amazing special effects put on display. One of these days, when I get the fucking Blu-ray, or you know what? I don't need the Blu-ray. I'll just sit down and watch my lousy old DVD, and we'll talk about The Gate someday. Movie I could watch on repeat. See, this one is another one that I didn't want to say the same old, but there's only one movie that comes to mind that I could legitimately watch on repeat and never get tired of it. And it just fucking pisses me off that Lee McCoy has never seen it. And I told him how great it was, and he still hasn't bought it yet. So Lee McCoy, if you happen to be fucking watching this goddamn video, you better go buy Monster Squad, motherfucker, right now. Because The Monster Squad is a movie you can watch on repeat. And it's not even that long, so you can watch it over and over again, and it won't even take up that much of your time. Anyway, we all know how much I love The Monster Squad. It's one of the greatest things to ever happen to the entertainment industry. Let's see. Oh, look, I just, I shouted out Lee McCoy, not that anybody cares. Now here, there's somebody else I'm going to give a little shout out to. Movie that made me fall in love with horror. Well, guess what movie that is? Freddys Dead. So Cody Leach can go fuck himself. Or wait a minute, that's not what I put down. I said, Freddys Dead. So fuck you, Cody Leach. Yeah, fuck you, Cody Leach. We'll talk about it sometime, but I don't know what it was. Let's see, how old was I? I was like 9 years old. My cousin had the VHS tape. They put it in. I sat there. I watched it. I was like, holy shit. I want everything Freddy Krueger. You piece of shit. I want everything Freddy Krueger. So I immediately, and I had probably seen the first Nightmare on Elm Street before watching Freddys Dead. But I know I went from that to Freddys Dead to just going out and buying all of them. And then I would just sit there and marathon them every couple weeks until I lost my VHS tapes. But yeah, Freddys Dead totally got me in the love with the horror. Because I was a casual horror watcher. And then once I saw that, for some reason, it made me just want to go out and seek out every single horror movie I could at the time. So from the time I was 9, I mean, I started watching horror movies probably when I was like 5, if not when I was born, but however that happened. Anyway, this is taking too long. Movie that changed my life. And it started to change my life. It hasn't changed yet. I'm working on it. I'm working on it real slowly. But eventually, when I get some more stuff and some more people that are willing to let me yell at them day in and day out until we're done, a movie called Salvage from 2006, which I have totally been meaning to review. It's on one of my horror movies you've probably never heard of. It's a extremely low budget. Like, this movie looks like it was filmed for $1,000, if that. I mean, it's got a really good camera, but you can tell it's like a lower, it's not whatever. And there's a minuscule cast in the movie, and the acting's passable, but the creativity in the story and the execution is just phenomenal, and it has inspired me to just make a movie someday. I'm just gonna do it, but I can't do it without help. I mean, I'd like to do it by myself, but I can't play everybody. I mean, sure, I can like do different impressions and wear different costumes, but it'd be nice to have a couple people that I could, say, take on a camping trip, and then, one day while we're just hanging out, something goes wrong, and then something else goes wrong, and then before you know it, you think you're watching one thing, and then something else happens, and you're like, what in the fuck is going on around here? It's the kind of movie I want to make. Anyway, where are we at? Guilty pleasure. Now, this was a hard one as well, because you should not feel guilty for liking a movie, even though I'm constantly harassing people for liking the Halloween franchise just a little too much. Just a little too much. I mean, let's face it. Michael Myers is the lamest out of all, aside from like the first movie. He's the lamest of the big three. He's not even in my big three. Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, Chucky, Pinhead. Then Michael. And if that offends you, fuck off! No, I'm kidding. Don't click the thumbs down button, because I'm almost done, and then you can do whatever. Anyway, movie. Did I say what my guilty pleasure was? No. Redneck Zombies from Trauma. And the Mike of Madness was just talking about this the other day. I didn't get to listen to the whole thing because I'm a very busy person, but I try to skim through, and it turns out Brad Thornton doesn't like this fucking movie. Brad Thornton, of all people, doesn't like Redneck Zombies. I mean, that just fucking tears it. I mean, that's almost worse than Lee McCoy never having seen The Monster Squad, let alone when he hadn't seen Night of the Living Dead. Brad Thornton doesn't like Redneck Zombies. Get the fuck out of here. What is not to absolutely love about that movie? The fucking performances are flawless. The comedy, the comedic timing is perfect. And just the all-around camera work. I mean, granted, it's shot on VHS, Like, it's literally shot with a VHS camcorder. But other than that, it's just a phenomenal piece of art. And I think everybody should own a copy of Redneck Zombies. And make sure it's the director's cut or something. Collector's edition? I don't know. It's got all the fun special features. Anyway, that's probably enough for me for now. If you've liked this, make sure you click right here and get stuck. Let me know down below. Oh, no. Just like, share, and subscribe if you would. I've got to go. I'm going to go punch the secretary in the doodle.